So if you want to be going hard in the gym, it's really important that you're eating the right stuff and doing the right habits that are going to make you feel good in the gym. Pushing yourself to your limits is extremely important, and if you feel like throwing up every time you do that, then that's going to make it a lot harder. You could act all tough about it and be like, "Yeah, I don't want to I want to push myself to the point where I feel like throwing up every time I go to the gym." And that's cool, but actually feeling like you're about to throw up or actually throwing up is a feeling that's going to, even if you don't care how it feels, it's going to hinder your ability to keep working out after you do that. So in this video, I'm going to go over the best ways to avoid feeling like shit in the gym, or in better words, how to feel better in the gym. And also in this video, I'm going to talk about how to boost your actual performance in the gym so you can get stronger and make more progress. So my progress since 2022 has been relatively good. It's more of a realistic way to look at it by looking at my progress because I wasn't like the YouTube 1 year transformation videos. I definitely had some hiccups along the way. I made a not so great decision at the very beginning of my weightlifting, which was going on a cut, which is basically just where you eat less calories than you burn and you lose weight by doing that. And that might be tempting to a lot of you. A lot of you, if you're especially teenagers in high school, you might think you need to lose fat or to go on a cut. But the reality is, if you're less than a year into going to the gym, or even more than that, year and a half, there's no reason for you to go on a cut. You need to build up that base strength and size so that you can go on a cut later. My progress in my strength wasn't extremely linear because I went on that cut, and when you go to lose weight, you lose a lot of strength. I only have my bench and my deadlift here because I improved my form a lot in my squat. So I started off light, went to about 225, 230 for 8 reps, but they were not really solid reps. I improved my depth a lot. I squat full depth now, and I have much better form now in my squat than I did. So my weight has gone like this and then back down and then back up. And I'm just starting to be able to get to like the 200, 205 kind of zone for 5 to 6 reps. So that's basically where my squat's at right now. And my deadlift has made the most improvement because I think it's just because it's my favorite lift, which is a little bit rare for some people. I went from 190 to 315. I credit a lot of my progress and strength to my diet and my recovery because you'll find that when you're eating a lot of food and you're eating a lot of complex carbs, you'll feel a lot better in the gym and be a lot stronger. Another metric of my progress is I get less fatigued in the gym and I'm able to do a lot more volume. So before, when I started out in the gym, I would find that I would go to failure on like a 10 to 12 rep set, and I would take a 2 to 3 minute break, which is the good amount of time to rest in between sets. And then I would just do significantly less reps on the next set, and I definitely improved how fatigued I got. And I feel way better in the gym, more explosive, more strength, more energy. I used to feel like throwing up. I was lightheaded. I got headaches, especially on the leg days when I was deadlifting and squatting. I felt really sick, and it might have been because I was working out really early in the morning, and you might not have a similar problem if you work out later in the day, but I felt very lightheaded and I was getting headaches. But I fixed that. I still work out in the morning and I feel great. I can squat, I can deadlift, I can whatever. I can go as hard as I want. I used to have a lot of muscle cramping. This was pretty recent because I started adding in bike rides to my fitness regimen just because I wanted to do some cardio and I like biking around. It's just a fun thing to do. And at night, I would get really bad cramps in my legs. Or I guess if you get any real muscle cramps, you'll know how it's like. It's just like this really uncomfortable feeling that doesn't go away. And I fixed it by having more electrolytes in my diet. And I'll go over that later in the video. So, if you want to feel better in the gym, there are some overall basics that are not only going to make you feel better in the gym, but also feel better just overall. So you're going to want to be eating a healthy diet, which isn't specific for the gym, but it will just make you feel better overall. So I recommend you eat what's called whole foods. And if you don't know what that is, basically, it's not the grocery store whole foods. It's basically just a food with one ingredient. So, for example, if you were to buy French fries, what would that be? That would be potatoes. So, you would just basically eat the one base ingredient, and just your diet should consist of those basic ingredients. So, an example of not a whole food would be bread, and another one would be ice cream. So, instead of having ice cream, have milk. That would be the basic whole food in that. Instead of having bread, replace that with a whole food carb like rice. And you're going to want to get fruits, vegetables, complex carbs, healthy fats, and lean proteins in every single day. And that way you'll get 95% of what you need to feel good and to feel healthy. So, some examples of healthy fats would be like olive oil and avocados. An unhealthy fat might be like vegetable oil or something that you deep fry something in. So, I also recommend that you drink a lot of water. This might be much for you, but I drink a gallon of water a day. I have this half gallon water bottle, and I drink 2 of those every day. And I've been drinking a half gallon. I used to have a big jug, but it fucking rolled off my desk in math class and it shattered. So I definitely recommend you drink a lot of water. And ever since I've been doing that, I've been feeling a lot better. My skin's been clearer. I never really had that much issues with my skin, but my skin's been clear. I just feel overall better. I feel leaner. So definitely drink a lot of water. And also, something you should do is get a lot of sleep and prioritize your recovery. So 80% of the time is a good metric to go about, because life happens. Sometimes you want to do something fun. You want to stay up late with your family or your friends and watch a movie. You want to hang out outside with your friends. You just want to live your life a little bit, and it's going to result in you going to bed a little later. Or maybe you went to bed late and you still had to wake up early the next day. Just as a rule of thumb, about 80% of the time at least, get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So this is really going to help you with your recovery, because the time where you make the most gains in your muscle protein synthesis is while you're sleeping. And it's just going to be great for your recovery and just your performance at the gym. You're going to be more focused in the gym. It's just going to really help you. And then before and after your workouts, you want to make sure you're warming up properly and rolling out and stretching. It's just going to prevent a lot of possible injuries or overtraining. And also, you're going to want to try out some cold and heat exposure. Cold exposure and cold showers has made a huge difference in my muscle soreness and recovery. But I will warn you that cold exposure has been really good for my mind and my mental health, but there is some research that's showing that it's actually not that great for your muscle synthesis. But for me, it's really improved my focus and my mental health. So consider trying it out if you want to. It's really helped me. So, some specific dietary habits for optimal gym performance. So this is just a basic overview of the diet stuff I'm going to talk about in this video. So I'm going to talk about what to eat before and after the gym, throughout the day, and some supplements you might want to take. So before the gym, this might be your most important meal, is about 1 hour before the gym. You want a meal with high complex carbs, moderate fats, and moderate proteins. So high complex carbs are really important because it's just going to give you the energy and strength that you need for the gym. And also, if you eat carbs before your workout, you're going to get a lot better of a pump, which a lot of you might want. Getting a pump is just really fun. So, an example of some complex carbs are oats. I eat oatmeal. Bananas are great. Fruit. Honey, you could put honey in oatmeal or just one thing I used to do is I just used to take shots of honey, just like straight out of the bottle. And those have carbs, and the honey and the fruit have some sugars, some natural sugars that are good for the short term energy before your workout. And also, you might want to take some electrolytes, which will stop your muscle cramping. For me, if you're doing like running, biking, whatever, you might get some cramping in your quads, and for me, it's a lot in my hamstrings. So if I go on a bike ride and I'm like biking up a hill, right, I'm feeling the burn a lot. A lot of times, if I have hamstrings next day, like it's on the most of the time the seated hamstring curls or the prone laying down on your stomach hamstring curls, I'll get cramps um in my hamstrings. And a good way to avoid that is by taking electrolytes, which will prevent those cramps because electrolytes basically just keep your muscles functioning. So, the electrolytes you want are potassium, sodium, and magnesium. Those are the three main ones. And potassium is high and is found in bananas. So that's why I recommend eating bananas. And magnesium is in a lot of nuts. So that's pretty good. But also, you're going to not want to eat as many of those because in this one, you're having moderate fats, and nuts are actually really high in fat. So you can take magnesium supplements, which is really helpful. And magnesium is one of the most important ones. So, and also you can have sodium, which is found in salt. A lot of you probably know that. And I recommend you just put a big pinch of salt in your pre-workout or just anything. You could even just put it in some water and just drink it. And for caffeine and pre-workout, I'm sure a lot of you like taking that stuff. And I do too. I take pre-workout, and sometimes if it's a lighter day, I'll just have a cup of coffee. So you want to be trying to have caffeine at least 60 minutes after you wake up. And like I said, you can put a big pinch of salt in that for sodium, which is really helpful. And you should make sure you're buying the right pre-workout. So make sure you're not getting there's a lot of bullshit pre-workout brands that don't tell you the exact amounts of the ingredients that they're putting in. They'll say like it's a blend or a mixture of something like that. And you want to make sure that you can see how much of the ingredients are for. And the three main supplements that are in those pre-workout powders is citrulline, beta-alanine, and caffeine. You all know what caffeine does. It's a supplement that helps with your focus, your energy, and your motivation. And when you have that caffeine, it'll just motivate you a lot more if you're at the end of that set to get that last really hard rep. If you have caffeine in your system, it'll be a lot easier to do that and to push yourself. Citrulline will help you with that pump. It'll make the blood go to your muscles, and it'll just feel really awesome. And beta-alanine is if you ever taken pre-workout and you get that itchy, tingling feeling, that's basically a side effect of beta-alanine, and it improves your performance and your strength and your muscle endurance. So those are the three main ingredients that you want to look for and you'll find in pretty much every pre-workout. And I recommend like 6 grams, if I'm not mistaken, like 6 grams of citrulline. I'm not sure how much beta-alanine, but 200 milligrams of caffeine is a good amount for pre-workout. If you're getting into the high stim zone, it's better to just take a tolerance break so you don't have to deal with that. Here's a side note from a trainer that I had a free consultation with at my gym, and it's about pre-workout meals. So before, for my pre-workout meal, I was on a bulk, right? I would have oatmeal with peanut butter, and what this trainer said was one of the benefits of carbs is they're the quickest digesting macronutrient. So that's why they're good to have before your workout, because they'll digest faster and give you the energy quick. When you mix carbs with your fats, those carbs will digest as slow as the fats, and fats are one of the slowest digesting macronutrients. And it will slow down how fast they digest, and then those carbs will not be as useful. So when you're having your pre-workout meal, make sure that the fats and proteins are at a moderate level and not too high, because you want your carbs to digest as quickly as possible. So after the gym, for your post-workout meal, you're going to want to have it at least like 2 hours after your workout. And I recommend that you just go all out, high in complex carbs, fats, and proteins. And you're just going to want to feast. Just this is the time where I eat the most amount of food. My post workout meal is eggs, meat, and oatmeal with peanut butter. My meat isn't the greatest choice because it's not lean. It's turkey bacon, but that's just been the best thing for convenience wise is I have turkey bacon. And I make breakfast for me and my dad. So, and then I have like 2.5 to 3 eggs. This is really good for me because high in everything, and that peanut butter is high in fat, oatmeal's got the carbs, and the eggs and meat have the protein. And if you want to have snacks throughout the day, this is also a good time. And you can replenish your electrolytes with some salt, bananas, and nuts. And the salt's gonna have that sodium, bananas have the potassium, and the nuts have the magnesium. And the reason why you don't want to have the nuts before is because they're high in fats and it's going to make your carbs digest slower. So throughout the day, you're going to want to make sure that you're having protein consistently because it's going to keep your muscle protein synthesis kind of up to par throughout the day so that it doesn't dip down too low and you'll continue building muscle throughout the day. And if you're intermittent fasting, you're going to want to do that later. Maybe just because I'm a teenager, I feel like a lot of the people watching this are going to be of the same age. If you're older, definitely try out intermittent fasting, especially if you're trying to lose fat. What I've heard about it is it's really great, and I definitely want to try it when I'm older. And that's basically where you only eat from like noon to 7, about that kind of window, and you refrain from eating in the morning and super late at night. But for everybody, I recommend you try not to eat within 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours of sleeping, because it'll just reduce your sleep quality. And you don't want to use the energy that you could be building muscle while you're sleeping. You don't want to use that energy on digesting food. Try to cut out sugar as much as possible. And when I say sugar, I'm mostly talking about the actual ingredient sugar, like the powder that comes from sugar cane or I don't know, wherever else sugar comes from. That's just because sugar just has a lot of negative repercussions on our health. And you can have some natural sugar. I definitely recommend you eat fruit, and honey is great too. Definitely a lot of good carbs and sugars in that. And yeah, that's basically what you're going to want to eat throughout the day. And for supplements, a lot of you were probably looking forward to this. Don't prioritize supplements too much because no supplement is going to make up for a bad lifestyle or an unhealthy diet. But if you're definitely wanting some more convenient ways to have stuff, and so the number one most popular is going to be protein powder. And basically it's just going to be a more convenient way of having protein. And most of your protein should come from meats and eggs and natural sources, but this is more convenient, and I recommend you limit yourself to 2 scoops per day and just have it throughout the day so you maintain muscle protein synthesis. And honestly, my protein powder is probably like the least healthy thing I have in my day just because I get like a flavored kind, and I just actually, it's kind of weird, but I actually enjoy my protein powder and it's like a treat for me. And also, I take creatine too. I just started taking it. And it's an amazing supplement. It's naturally found in meat. And unlike your mom probably thinks, it is not a steroid. And it's heavily researched. And it basically makes you retain water in your muscles. So it'll make you look a lot bigger. And it'll make you gain strength and boost recovery. So when I was debating taking creatine, my family told me that you might not want to take it because the gains are temporary. The thing is, you will have a heightened strength and size while you're on creatine, and if you stop it, it will drop back down. But the reality is, when you have that heightened strength, you will be able to make significantly more permanent gains with that strength because the way you increase your muscle size is through what's called progressive overload, where you increase weight or reps over time. And if you have that increased strength, you will be able to do that, which will make you able to gain more muscle. So creatine's amazing. I recommend you try it. quick disclaimer, it will make you really thirsty, so you're going to have to drink more water if you take creatine, but it's made me feel better. It's not a miracle supplement that a lot of people say. A lot of people put it on a pedestal, but it'll just help you. It's not a miracle. It's just creatine. It's just an extra thing that I throw into my protein powder. And also, something a lot of people don't think about, which has been proven through research, is that creatine's less effective when you take it close to having caffeine. And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll have their pre-workout stack and they'll put creatine in their pre-workout, or they'll buy a pre-workout that has creatine in it, when creatine is actually proven to be less effective. So I have it with my protein, and I try to space it out away from my caffeine. So I definitely recommend you try creatine. So for vitamin D, I'm sure a lot of people have recommended you take this supplement. So we're almost all deficient in it because, I mean, think about it. When we were in tribes and we were nomads, think about how much time we were spending in the sun. And most of our days now is spent inside. So get outside more. Sunlight's great for you, by the way. This is just if you're not getting enough. And even if you are getting outside for hours out of your day, you still should probably take this supplement because we're all deficient in it. And vitamin D will just improve your health and your energy overall. So it's a great supplement that I personally take. And I recommend you get the drops instead of the pill capsules because they absorb better. So yeah, take vitamin D. And for electrolytes, I've already talked about those. You can get supplements for all three. I mean, I list 4 in that: sodium, calcium, potassium, and magnesium. You can get pill forms, or I don't really know, maybe you can get a powder form or just a supplement form of any of those electrolytes. And those will just really help with your muscle cramping. And for athletes, that's a pretty big problem, is you overexhaust your muscle groups throughout the day, and during your night, you wake up and you just have this horrible pain in your legs. It's just really annoying. So have some electrolytes, throw some in with your water. There's like a lot of different hydration electrolyte supplements like Liquid IV, but keep in mind, if you drink like electrolyte based sports drinks, like Gatorade has, like, if you get red Gatorade, you're getting a bunch of shit in with your electrolytes. So you're getting like red 40 sugar. It's just not the best way to have them. There are some electrolytes, but if I'm not mistaken, there's just not a sufficient amount of them compared to how much sugar you're getting. And there's a lot of new drinks rising up, like Prime is a big thing. But if you want to most effectively have your electrolytes, you're going to want to either get a supplement or eat more electrolyte high foods. Alright, so in conclusion, you're going to want to eat a healthy diet and prioritize your recovery. You're going to want to eat an appropriate pre- and post-workout meal. And make sure you're eating protein consistently to keep that protein synthesis process around the clock. And consider taking some supplements that are going to boost your performance, health, and recovery. And on that note, I hope you guys have a great day.